Recently been made acquainted to Dr. RI and DDK. So I have so much to share, so let me start you off on this journey of who we are. We are basically we birthed out of a technology company, a conglomerate of listed companies that came together to build the cryptocurrency ecosystem. Starting out in the early 2017, we started by mining cryptocurrency with Bitfury, and at one point in time we were mining up to 150 BTC per day. So that's where we began our journey. And so we were mining in Ontario, Houston, in Georgia, and then we went into exchange technology, developing the source code from scratch, and then launching a few exchanges in Hong Kong and Singapore being Bcoin. In concurrent, we've also done other works in the similar sphere for automated autonomous vehicles, data collection, robotics, and our own proprietary blockchain called Xchain. We also have a quant team that aids with liquidity provision, as well as an advocate for education and advisory services in the cryptocurrency space. So we are all over the world really, from Korea to Japan to Singapore, and we've journeyed the past 2 years from traditional fintech microfinancing, peer-to-peer lending to cryptocurrency today. So how many of you here do not own cryptocurrency? None. Please, anyone don't own any kind of cryptocurrency? Okay, so I'm really preaching to the converted already, right? So I'm going to skip through all the irrelevant information. Bitcoin, we all know what that is. Blockchain, we all know what that is. Decentralized, permissionless, transparent yet private, fast transactions, immutable, scarce, highly secure, less friction and cheap. We all know this, but not all blockchains are created equal. And henceforth, there are many kinds of cryptocurrencies out there, more than 2,000 types of cryptocurrencies. So, what about the evolution of money? I want to purport to you today that, I think this was previously shared as well from one of the developers, that money is constantly evolving, from back in the day to barter trading, to later the ancient kingdoms of trading in stones and seashells, of anything of value, to later precious metals, gold and silver, and then federal banks with their paper money, printing money, cards, e-money, digital tokens, and now cryptocurrency. Most of our elderly generation today has a credit card. We give them a credit card and they go spend it. But do they understand what happens at the back end? The database systems of how traditional ledger technologies, how the banks operate and how they track all the transactions. They don't have to care about that technology. They just have to know that they're going to tap it, they're going to sign it, and there it goes. What about today? Today we've got cryptocurrency, and less than 1% of global adoption has actually experienced and used and has been involved in cryptocurrencies. The idea that I want to put across to you is that this market is still really, really small. Even though the past 8-9 months has been called the cryptocurrency winter, the market has been down. I think a lot of people have seen their assets dwindle. But what I can say to comfort everyone is that we are only at the beginning stages. Looking at the numbers, maybe Bitcoin today is not 110 billion. Rather, the whole cryptocurrency market today is about $140 billion. Jeff Bezos or any of the richest men in the world can almost buy up the entire cryptocurrency market. Compare that against Apple at $1 trillion, or gold at $7 trillion, or the equity markets, the bond market, the entire derivatives market put together. That's like $1.3 quadrillion. That's a lot of zeros. So what are we looking at here? We are just at the beginning of innovation. Less than 1% of global adoption, 9 billion people, 6 billion unbanked, and cryptocurrency market at $140 billion. That's a huge upside potential. And this is the number of wallets as of, I think, August or September. I think today there's about 30 million wallets. Count the number, if you consider the number of lost wallets, who lost their passphrase? Who lost their private key? So you're probably contributing to that. Wasted wallets. So if, let's say conservatively, 50% of these are repeated wallets. I'm sure most of you here have like 5 or 6 cryptocurrency wallets. And then we count that by the number of times people have lost their wallets. You're looking at probably less than 15 million of global adoption against 9 billion population. And what about the developing nations? The access to financial services, bridging the innovation gap, having to wheelbarrow money into the markets in Venezuela and Argentina, Mexico, and all the other countries plagued by hyperinflation. Cryptocurrency is not a solution to everything, but what it is, it's an alternative, purely an option for other people, for people that are disadvantaged in politically corrupt or financially burdened countries as a distributed, decentralized global currency. But that is only the first step. The world's global financial institutions or technology conglomerates are actually coming together to build their own blockchain systems, to utilize this kind of technology for their own purposes. And these are the big boys coming into the game, not just the developer in his own little room, creating his own currency, mining his own coin, but actually the larger conglomerates are coming together now. Cryptocurrencies are extremely resilient. From January 2009, the Genesis block of Bitcoin, up till today, how many cryptocurrencies has birthed? Of course, many of them have dwindled and died out and were replaced. But still, we have this entire cryptocurrency market. And that's why you guys are here today. We can't compare that against the global financial crisis of 2009 or May of 2008 or many other setbacks in the traditional world. Compare that with all the naysayers saying, oh, you have cryptocurrencies, you're going to get hacked, don't leave it in an exchange, exchange is going to get hacked. By the way, Bcoin has never been hacked. On the side of security, we are very focused on providing you the best quality of security in terms of how we steward your money. We see ourselves, number one, as a custodian of your assets. So that gives utmost responsibility from our side to hold good custody of the digital assets of our clients. So anyways, my point really to bring across is that as much as the traditional world, or people say that the cryptocurrency world is broken, the traditional world was never the best solution in the first place. So what's the role of exchanges? In a nutshell, we serve as an online marketplace for people to buy and sell their cryptocurrencies. I think we all know that. But first and foremost, we are a custodian. We hold your cryptocurrencies, we hold your digital assets, and that gives us responsibility in securing them. The second part is really enabling a marketplace for people to match. If I want to buy a $5, if Alice wants to buy, I don't know, 1 Bitcoin and Bob wants to sell 10 Litecoin around the world, where are you going to go to find that trade? What an exchange provides is for you to access a global marketplace where you pooled everyone's digital assets together for an equal bid and ask price to execute a trade from someone in, I don't know, Uganda, trading with someone in the US, trading with someone in Japan. It enables trust within a trustless environment, enabling a combined liquidity in a global marketplace. Okay, moving on. So, transaction versus exchange. Bitcoin or any other cryptocurrency first gave us the first step, which is transaction, A to B. But the exchange takes it to the second level, where A to B and B back to A. It's not a simple transaction, it's not a one-way. So if you want to make an exchange, you go to 7-Eleven, you give him $2, you get your drink, it's because it's over the counter. But when you're talking about a global marketplace, you don't know who's the other person at the other counter, but you need to ensure that that transaction is executed. So who goes first, right? I want to give you this and you give me that, we don't know the other party. So the typical journey of a cryptocurrency investor is through fiat. And then you get into Bitcoin or you just start mining, whichever that may be. You enter into your major cryptos, you buy your altcoins, the more speculative coins, and then you come out into your Ethereum, your Bitcoin, and then back out to USD. So that's the typical journey. And that is required, and that requires an exchange. So I think I'll move on to share the meats of this entire presentation, which is what Bcoin represents and who we are. We are primarily a cryptocurrency exchange. We trade in fiat, we trade in cryptos, we trade in 3 markets, USD, BTC, and ETH, currently trading over 30 pairs. So we actually launched our exchange sometime between April and May this year. We've been building since late 2017. So really we're only about less than a year old. We've launched on both web and mobile. We've launched a few languages in Mandarin and Korean. And also we're already trading your favorite cryptocurrency pairs. So in the recent Q3, we were also ranked the top exchange in Singapore based on 13 different metrics across things like how fast to withdraw, to deposit, how secure, what is our customer response time, and what is how active our community is. So this is based on the Q3 independent rankings by the Institute of Blockchain Singapore. And we're very proud to be independently ranked as the first. So what really sets us apart? Why are we number one? Really because as an exchange, what's the difference between one exchange from the other? We just facilitate people transacting A and to B to B to C. But really the value add that we bring is that at the core is our exchange, and we provide advisory as well as educational and events to create this ecosystem. If I generate a token today and I do not have any business ecosystem, what's the value of that coin worth? Nothing, because there's no use case, there's no utility. But in the cryptocurrency world, we are building together this ecosystem through our business partners and business logic and the fundamentals of what drives the cryptocurrency ecosystem. So for example, for advisory services, we aid with projects in terms of how they, the post-ICO processes, how you manage your token value, how you build utility into your token. We partner with marketing experts to grow their communities, as well as our recently launched exchange coin offering, as well as a premium token offering. I'll share more about this later. But all these are value-added services that increase the user's experience while they are trading on the exchange. The other thing that we focus heavily on is the education and the events. Why do I say so? Because cryptocurrency is not easily understood by the mass majority. How many hashes, penta, exa, giga hashes, what kind of block times, what kind of, I don't know, there's so many metrics to consider when you're looking at cryptocurrency and ICOs. So evangelism and awareness and helping the men on the street to understand what cryptocurrency or digital assets are is very important. If not, it's just going to be the same old cryptocurrency guys trading amongst themselves. So to actually grow, to acquire, to retain, and to convert these users are very important. So development and learning, even though I've developed, let's say, for example, a intelligent digital asset issuing platform, such as DDK, or maybe Ethereum, or Lisk, or ARC, or any one of those Stratus, Waves, so on and so forth. I can launch a platform, but no one uses it. So how do I engage the developer communities to come in to build on it? If you do not have these side arms of advisory and education, the cryptocurrency market is just going to fade away, right? It takes a collective effort for them to come together. So one of the value-added services that we provide is a dedicated bounty platform that helps to grow, to evangelize, and to share through the network effects of reward mechanisms, of incentives to share a certain piece of news. The other thing that we offer is what we call a premium token offering, whereby any ICO or any token that is being issued can directly issue through the exchange. That means automated KYC. That means the compliance part is covered. Whatever their legal doesn't allow them for the subscription of tokens, we naturally refuse our users from subscribing. It also enables automatic listing directly after the PTO is conducted, meaning all your compliance and checks are done way before the project even starts to raise funds. So the learning hub, what we do is really, we speak at certain events, we host our own programs, our seminars, our workshops, whether it's in development, pitching, or education, over in different places, especially in our own office as well. We have events almost every week. So if there's a takeaway for you guys of what Bcoin is today, is trade, store, spend. What do I mean by this? We've already built our trading platform. It's trading on mobile. We trade the altcoins. We're a fiat and crypto gateway, and we have OTC trading services. That part's built. Store. Users are insured. We have insurance. There's mobile storage. There's multi-currency, and it's payment integrated. At the moment, this is in beta, and we're still building this. Why does an exchange need a mobile wallet, you may ask? It's because we're trying to integrate payment solutions. What do I mean by trying to integrate payment solutions? How many merchants accept Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum? Maybe a handful in Singapore. I can buy a coffee, I can buy a taco from a van, but I can't go to, let's say, Best Banky and pay in Bitcoin. But they all accept Visa, they all accept MasterCard. So plastic money is still a good segue into using cryptocurrencies. What this enables is a front-end settlement in fiat, but a back-end liquidation through crypto onto the exchange because of through the fiat gateway, instantly into fiat and spending in fiat. That solves the whole problem of, do I accept cryptocurrency? No, I don't accept. I'm just going to top up some Bitcoin onto my card and then pay it on my MasterCard. So the store function of the payment integrated wallet will allow for the usage of cryptocurrencies through a prepaid debit card. So what's next? Exchange issued tokens is next on our pipeline. That we are going to integrate our own token into the exchange ecosystem to acquire, to convert, and to retain customers so that they can have a better user experience, and at the same time that creates value. How do you create demand in your token? Everyone can generate a token, supply. I supply you with a lot of tokens, but if there's no demand for the tokens, everyone's going to sell it off. So you need a bilateral way of creating value through the linkages. So the same way the coin or the token creates value onto the ecosystem by acquiring, converting, and retaining consumers, our ecosystem will actually build the value back to the users so that there is natural organic demand, not just selling, but also buying. So it's an engineered way of token economics. What I mean by engineered is it means precision, by carefully dictating the business logic around the token. Like I said, if I create a token out of nowhere, anyone can develop a token. But if there's no business around the token has no demand. So some of the features of the token is to create incentives as well as to drive activation. So for example, the 4 things that it has is basically discounted trading fees. If you use the token to pay for your fees, you pay less fees, and therefore you're incentivized to use it. You get additional discounts when you hold a certain amount of tokens. And then it's further distributed to acquire customers through transaction mining. So it means as you transact, you actually are mining the tokens. So by your increased activity on the exchange, you get tokens. Community activation is really to get a feedback of our consumer response. Weighted across to how much tokens you hold, it means you have vested stake on the exchange, which token you want listed, or what event you want to attend, or any kind of polling event. It represents your voice as a community. So let me state you an example. For example, say Billy or Bob, he has 1,000 tokens, and as he starts to trade, he's using his tokens to trade to pay for the fees. And then he drops through a certain threshold and he realizes I only have 500 tokens left, his benefits are decreased. So what do I have to do? I have to top up, so I have to buy the tokens again. And that creates demand, because as he consumes, he realized that he's reaping the benefits, but now I gotta top it up to maintain my benefits. So you have a continuous feedback cycle. You can't just give tokens out if the tokens have no value. You need to create use cases for it. And therefore that creates a vibrant and healthy, robust ecosystem through fiat as well as cryptocurrency. And the demand for exchange tokens. I think that we've seen a lot of returns from exchange-issued tokens, namely from the largest exchanges such as Binance, Huobi, or OKX. I'm not claiming that we're going to be as big as them, but we could well be. And generally, exchange tokens have performed well. Because once the tokens are issued, it finds immediate subscribership and utility on the platform which it resides. So anyways, I've come to the end of my presentation of what Bcoin is. We have a few events, we're attending some. I think this slide is not really updated, but we were at the Singapore FinTech Festival 2 weeks ago. And we will be exhibiting at the Block Show at Marina Bay Sands, so do come down and join us. We've recently been growing a lot into the Korean market, and we'll be showcasing more than 10 projects at our office as well as at Marina Bay Sands with Block Show. So please meet and greet our team. Our exchange is very transparent. We're here in Singapore, 78 Shenton Way. So if you have any issues with your account, any questions, want to know what our security system's like, want to know what our business processes and compliance processes are, feel free to connect with us. I know we don't have that much time today, but yeah, please continue to stay connected with us. And with that, I've come to the end of my presentation.